Tesla's stock is back in the green today, up almost 1%, following some Tesla-specific breaking news today. A new version of FSD 12.3 is now being released to some customers. Elon Musk says, quote, "This is a big release. Should arguably be called V13. It seems like as Tesla is getting their hands on more GPUs, more processing computing power to train FSD, it is dramatically getting better. And at some point, the markets are going to figure out the robo-taxi network, full self-driving, autonomous vehicles, while Tesla's going to dominate that and thus probably have a larger impact to Tesla stock. Tesla China weekly insurance registration numbers just came in at 13,000 for last week. Last year's number was about 17,000, but keep in mind, you were just coming out of the Chinese New Year, and you're probably going to see these numbers for the next couple of weeks start to ramp up quite a bit. Financial media really spread this narrative that Tesla's demand is slowing down in China, when in all reality, they did not take into consideration the Chinese New Year, which last year was in January, early January, and you could see the low insurance registrations then, 7,500 for the third week of January, 3,300 for the fourth week, 8,600, 6,900, 5,900, a period of weakness, and then followed by a real strong period for the following 10 weeks or so. Well, you just had your week period, which could have only been 2 weeks this time, with 5,700 insurance registrations for the 6th week of 2024, and then 2,600, and then boom, you're back up to 10,800, 12,500, now 13,000. You are on the right trend, and I think Wall Street is overlooking the possibility that Tesla's numbers may just really start to climb here. Overall, all things considered, this time period from January until now of 2023, Tesla had delivered 88,138 vehicles. So far in 2024, from the start of January until now, Tesla has delivered about 2,000 more vehicles, sitting at 90,200. And again, you're likely to see the next couple of weeks be very strong. You can also see thousands of Teslas sitting in Shanghai's South Port waiting for export. So there's a lot of Teslas that are currently being exported as well, in which we don't have those weekly numbers just yet. The first ever Model Y deliveries in Malaysia have officially started. Elon Musk will reportedly visit Giga Berlin this week. He would meet Brandenburg State Premier Dietmar Woidke and the state's economy minister, George Steinbach. Tesla is now offering a lithium iron phosphate LFP pack retrofit to some Model 3 owners, requiring a battery replacement under warranty. This option is now available for those vehicles that were initially equipped with the 2170 battery cells. Tesla is rolling out Matrix headlight support in software update 2024.8 in Europe. It also adds a new, quote, one-time charge limit feature. This option appears when you increase the car's charge limit above the daily driving recommendation. Young Trump said this about EVs on a new CNBC interview today. Quote, "First of all, they don't go far. They cost too much, and they're all going to be made in China. I'm all for electric vehicles, but you have to have all of the alternatives also." And of course, that's true. There's some things EVs can likely never be a substitute for. Think the military. Tanks running off EVs, that's never going to happen. There's always going to be some kind of alternative vehicle out there. The question really is, do EVs really become mainstream for the average family, right? Does the average family buy an EV, or do they buy a gas-powered vehicle 10 years from now? I think it's clear we're going in the direction of EVs, but that's the choice that I make, and that's why I invest in Tesla. If you're not confident in that, then you probably would want to reassess your investment in Tesla if that is the case. Now, there's also other things as well, like FSD. Some people are only invested in Tesla for FSD and robotaxi potential, right? Optimus, energy storage. There's a lot of other things going on, so maybe that's not a fair assumption to reassess your whole investment if you don't think along those lines. But more power to you. Wes, he is the Cybertruck lead engineer and does the testing and analysis for all Tesla vehicles. He says, FAFO, we build vehicles for people who love and enjoy them, not to flip for profit without adding any value. This shouldn't need to be said or enforced. This is in regard to Tesla now enforcing the blacklisting of this one owner that resold his Cybertruck when clearly you're not supposed to do so. Now, apparently Travis Scott pulled up to the WWE in his new Cybertruck. Add another quote-unquote celebrity to the growing list of quote-unquote celebrities that now own a Cybertruck. I think one of the most underlooked things in regards to the Cybertruck and Tesla is just how popular this vehicle is becoming for its uniqueness and the halo effect that is going to come about because of just that. It's not something that is priced into Tesla, and I think this does or will really have a positive effect on the entire Tesla brand, but it's going to take some time. It's not instant gratifications. It's not instant, it's not an instant halo effect. So it will take 12, 18 months, but let's say a year from now, let's revisit this, and I think you're going to be seeing some really good numbers for Tesla. A lot of that could be contributed by the Cybertruck and the halo effect. Now, this is pretty cool. Tesla has launched a program that will let people take early delivery of a Foundation Series Cybertruck if they were a Tesla shareholder on February 28th, 2021, and owned at least 500 Tesla shares on February 29th of 2024. Cybertruck reservation must have been made prior to March 1st of 2024. Tesla's Giga Berlin factory has officially been reconnected to the electricity grid following a week-long outage caused by arson, the power firm in charge of fixing the disruption said. That could ultimately be another reason why Tesla stock is going higher today. Because let's be honest, today was not a great day. Now, we're going to talk about this more in the video coming out at 8 p.m. It's really starting to look like we have a bubble on our hands, okay? Take a look at the core CPI month over month. This came in hotter than expected at 0.4%. The estimate was 0.3%, so that was hotter than expected. Core year over year came in at 3.8%. Estimate was 3.7%. That was hotter than expected. Headline inflation month over month came in at 0.4%, in line with expectations, and year over year headline CPI came in at 3.2%. The estimate was 3.1%. And what did equity markets do? Well, they raced higher. The triple Qs, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, was up 1.3% at the time of recording this video. But take a look at TLT. TLT, in fact, reacted to the inflation report. TLT got sold off. That means rates went higher. That's what should have happened to equities as well. You should have seen some downside. The equity said, nope, we're not falling. Apparently, equities rally on everything. Sven Hendrick on X, he made this post hilarious, so true. It's ridiculous. He says the market rises on lower inflation, higher inflation, lower yields, higher yields, lower dollar, higher dollar, lower rate cut expectations, higher rate cut expectations, stronger jobs data, weaker jobs data. Literally everything. And it really just makes you wonder if there's some kind of treasury trading firm out there that is just buying up the markets on any data release. If not, we're truly heading into bubble territory. I mean, this was a broad-based rise in inflation. Gasoline up 3.8% month over month. Airline fare up 3.6% month over month. Natural gas up 2.3%. Fuel oil up 1.1%. Forget these, okay? Besides airline fare to a certain degree, these are, energy, right? Disregard that. Apparel, like clothes, hats, was up 0.6%. Used cars and trucks up 0.5%. Rent of primary residence up 0.5%. All items up 0.4%. Owner's equivalent rent up 0.4%. Motor vehicle maintenance and repair up 0.4%. Electricity up 0.3%. Food away from home up 0.1%. This was a broad-based rise in inflation. And your treasury yields today following this CPI report were up 5 basis points. And now officially the markets are expecting less than 3 interest rate cuts in 2024. Yesterday, markets were expecting 4 rate cuts from the Fed. Now, that has completely plummeted following today's CPI report. Now the forecast is around 2.6 rate cuts for the entire year. The next Fed meeting will be in precisely 1 week, 1 day, 0 hours, and 48 minutes from now. And it's going to be a big deal because you're going to get a summary of economic projections, and that could surprise the markets considering how CPI just surprised the markets to the upside. Maybe the Fed is expecting to give us less rate cuts. Now, markets are still pricing in June to be the first rate cut, although the odds are rising a little bit that we will continue to get a pause. Yesterday, a pause for June was priced at 28.3%. Currently, it's 30.7%. So odds of a pause are definitely rising. The odds of 2 rate cuts by June fell by about 50% today, from 11.8% yesterday to 6.6% today. So really, when you look at all of this other data, it should have meant stocks would fall. But that just did not happen. With that being said, let me know if you think what we've seen today in the markets is very reminiscent of a bubble. If not, let me know what you think is going on down below in the comment section. Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas has released a new Tesla note. Quote, Tesla and Bitcoin have long been seen as a barometer for investor risk appetite. Since this past September, however, the historically positive correlation between Tesla's share price and Bitcoin has broken down. What's going on below the surface? Well, Adam Jonas, it's actually pretty simple. Tesla's EPS estimates have fallen a lot, like 50% over the past 12 months, whereas Bitcoin is heading into a halving event, which will be in April. Historically, supply and demand, that means Bitcoin's going higher. I would say that's the easiest conclusion to draw, and yes, Tesla sold about 75% of their Bitcoin as well, so they're less economically tied to each other. Sentiment today in Tesla surprisingly pretty dang good considering Tesla's really underperforming your other big tech names. Sentiment today is at 74, which is categorized as bullish, almost extremely bullish. Whereas yesterday's sentiment was 57, still bullish, but closer to neutral. Message volume today is a little bit higher as well at 49. Yesterday it was at 46, and the participation ratio is sitting right at about 56 as well. That is high, about the same that we have been at recently. Google Trends data for the Cybertruck is roughly the same as where it has been. We only have partial data for the week of March 3rd through the 9th, but you're still sitting at about 28. There has been a lot of what I would call organic search trend activity for the Cybertruck. I don't think this is Tesla investors that are searching about the Cybertruck anymore or searching for the Cybertruck. I think a lot of this Google Trends activity we're seeing with the Cybertruck is other prospective buyers, not necessarily, Tesla owners. Could be Kim Kardashian posting on her story. It could be all these quote unquote celebrities that are driving around in the thing, getting media coverage in it. The auto shows, right? There's a lot of different, areas that this activity could be coming from, but I don't think it is Tesla investors. So that could be good for Tesla sales and the start of a halo effect. As far as Google Trends data for the rest of the Tesla lineup, the Model X surprisingly is going up quite a bit from 9 to 11, which the Model X doesn't move around all too much. The Model Y staying at about 31, the same as it was prior. The Model 3 going from 37 to 35. So a little bit of a down move there for the Model 3. The Model Y kind of plateauing, same with the Cybertruck, and a slight uptick for Model X search trend activity, which is something you don't see all the time. Global inventory numbers falling a little bit for the Model Y. That's good news, but you really want to see that fall quite a bit further from here. Model X, Model S, and Model 3 inventories staying at these very low levels, really in kind of a 12-month normal range, which is good news, suggesting good demand for these 3 models. I still don't know why the Model Y inventories are so high. Either, presumably, Tesla's building more Model Ys, which makes the most sense to me, or they're not selling as many Model Ys, which that doesn't make as much sense. I think if that were true, you would see Tesla cutting prices. The 2 and 10-year yield curve inversion is actually inverting more today. You're inverted 41 basis points, which is actually good. When you start to uninvert is typically when you're pretty close to heading into a recession. Option activity in Tesla stock today, oh man, it's on the good side. 626 orders totaling $978 million with a positive order value of 74%. Considering you're almost $1 billion of option activity in Tesla stock right now, by that 8 o'clock video tonight, you could be looking at, $1.5 to $2 billion in option activity in Tesla. If that 74% positive order value holds true, then it looks like hedge funds and institutions are taking on some pretty dang bullish positions today. But it does look like Tesla's short interest has recently skyrocketed yet again. Short interest of free float sitting at 3.47%. Previously, it was at 3.21%, which that's a big deal. That's actually like, what, 7-8 million more shares that were just sold short in Tesla. That is, let's say, 8 million shares that were just additionally sold short times $178, call it 50 cents. That's about $1.5 billion that was just taken out in new short positions in Tesla over the past week or two here. That's substantial. If you take a look at the cost to borrow fees today, that is sitting at about 9.86%. Could be one of the reasons why Tesla stock was really underperforming in the red at some points today. It does look like you had quite a bit of shorting activity in Tesla. The percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average is declining today, almost 3%, which again really shows the average stock is not enjoying these inflation numbers that came out, yet the markets are ripping higher. Pretty much all of this gain you are seeing to the SPY and the triple Qs, your broader indexes, are a big contributor, semiconductor companies, and your other big tech names, your other Mag 6 names. Tesla stock on a technical basis looks beautiful, though. You did hit the low at $172.41 per share. This looks like a Wyckoff candlestick. That means the stock kind of sold off towards the beginning of the day and then started to close at the high of the day. That's typically a good sign of reversal. You're also above this uptrending level of support, which that is also good news, because if you don't stay above that, then you're looking at some downside, potentially as low as 165. And if you, for whatever reason, did not hold support at 165, you're likely to fall back to about 150. And I think that's going to be your ultimate bottom in this cycle. But hey, what do I know? The ARM lockup expiration was also today. Let's see. ARM stock is up. It's up today like 1% or so, 1.5%. I think you really want to give this a couple days to see how it ultimately shakes out, if SoftBank does do some big selling or not. But this ARM lockup expiration with SoftBank is potentially a catalyst that could still affect your semiconductor companies. Again, you just got to give it some time. Tesla's MACD is starting to look down, so that's not fantastic. Tesla's RSI is sitting at 37.5. The stock is definitely on the oversold side. But again, I want to remind you of what I said earlier in this video. What you are seeing today is very problematic. It looks a lot like a bubble where markets are disregarding any bad news, any risk. They're just rallying for the sake of going higher. And that's a dangerous market to be in. We'll talk about that at 8 p.m., what my expectations are, why I think this could be a sign of a bubble, and what I expect from here. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you guys want to come join the trading community. Check out that link down below in the description of this video. As well as that, go ahead and follow the X account as well. It is Michael Tyler over there. Pretty easy to find. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.